Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book, a special Sports by the Book edition of Jeff Parles. The madness is here. We know the field is 68. We're previewing every region, and right now we're going to preview that top left corner, the home of the number one overall seed, the South region, where the Auburn Tigers are the favorites to get to the Final Four and win the thing in this tournament. And to help me break it down, one of my favorites in the sports betting industry, he's the host of the Sports Gambling Podcast, also the co-founder of the SGPN Network, our good friend Sean Green with us right now. Sean, it's awesome to see you, man.
Yeah, no, we were talking behind the scenes there, and yeah, it's been a while, Jeff. Good to see, Sports by the Book taking off, awesome. Thanks for having me on. The madness is here. It's just I'm trying to consume all these guides that came out and reading the trends, double checking things, and my brain is like hitting overload already, and it's only Monday. I love it.
It's hey, we only got another 3 weeks to do this, so we're in good shape, man.
No, you can't complain.
No, it's the best, to say the very least. So, Sean, we're going to start off with the two playing games real quick, and if you happen to have bets on these, at least this first one, which is the 16 playing game, the first game of the tournament, Alabama State and St. Francis. I think this is the worst individual playing game we've ever had, which is saying something. St. Francis is one of the worst teams I can remember making the tournament. With that said, I don't want any part of laying 4 points with Alabama State in this first game, Sean. Usually what I like doing in these playing 16s when the teams are this bad is I want to watch, take something in game, and then go opposite of what my intuition says, because that's usually how it plays out.
Yeah, these 16 seeds have been a real crapshoot over the years. I would just default to taking the points. To your point, like, who is Alabama State to be favored by 3.5, 4 points? So I would look to St. Francis. Again, don't love it, but St. Francis or nothing.
It's again the 5 seed in the SWAC is favored in an NCAA tournament game. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about St. Francis. The other one, of course, the big controversy of Sunday was North Carolina gets in. They're favored in the game, of course, which of course makes sense. They're absolutely winning this game against San Diego State. I don't think there's even a doubt. From just the non-gambling end of it, I think it's completely insane that North Carolina got in over West Virginia. I know your guy Money Mac has been doing the media tour of that today, but It just is such a weird one from the committee. I understand the brand of it. I understand it. They just went against everything, though, that they usually do. They all right, we value non-conference. We value quality wins. North Carolina's non-conference wasn't that good. They had one quality win the whole year, which was UCLA, who can't win outside their West Coast. Very strange. But in the end, Sean, no matter how wrong the selection was, I'll be on North Carolina on Tuesday night in Dayton.
100%. I think both things can be true, right? Where, hey, I don't think they deserve to be in the tournament. I'm every other sane person who had the same thought of like one quad win. No, there's no way they're getting in. And then to your point, these teams that don't get in, those are the teams you got to be worried about. Even we did a reaction show, and we had UNC fans or people sliding into my DMs like, man, we didn't deserve to be there. So when the fan base is apologizing for getting into the tournament, that's when you know your process is screwed up. That being said, they actually were playing decent basketball towards the end of the season. Now, some of it was certainly inferior opponents, but I think they match up pretty well against San Diego State here. So I'll take them laying the points here. Even shop around. You might be able to find a 3.5. Even at 4, I still like it. So yeah, give me UNC.
I'm a little bit skittish. The only reason I'm a little bit skittish here, Sean, is last year Virginia was so ridiculous that they were in the field, and I'm like, they're going to beat Colorado State, and then
State destroyed.
And then they fired one of the worst performances I've ever seen by any team in a tournament. Yeah. So I that's the only reason I'm even slightly like, hey, I'm not totally gun ho, but I'm pretty close to it on UNC. Them and Ole Miss would be an interesting game. I would like the Rebs, but I would be very interested to see what the number comes in a potential Ole Miss UNC round of 64 game. All right, let's go to the 8-9 matchup. This is actually the first game of the round of 64. This is when everyone will be amped up at about 12:15 Eastern time for Louisville and Creighton. which is a really good game for an 8-9, Sean. I think both of these teams are underseeded. Louisville is an 8. When I saw that, I'm like, well, North Carolina has no chance. And, of course, they get in 3 seed lines later. This is in Lexington, which is an interesting handicap. I've been to Louisville tournament games in Lexington in the past. It plays as a Louisville home game with that easy drive just down 64. 2.5, 145.5 on this one with Creighton and Louisville. Curious your thoughts here because I can be talked into either side on this one.
I was hoping you had a strong angle because I was in the same way. And it's weird. It's like Louisville is a home environment, but then you look at their ATS at home and they haven't been dominant. 8-9. And then I know Mountain West gets a ton of flack for their ATS record in the tournament, and certainly it's worse, but ACC hasn't been that far behind, 36, 59, and 2. So I would probably look to Creighton here just because of their shooting, but certainly not something I'm firing big on by any means.
By the way, Sean, I know this isn't our region, but the report that I just saw come out of Cooper Flagg's mom expects him to be back on the court very soon is always a good sign when we get that. Sean and I will actually look at the East region as well, but that will be in a different video. Sean, I was hoping you were going to give an exact play here too, because I think I leaned to Creighton, but it's so close. This might be one of those Louisville gets out 7-2 and take a bigger number on Creighton early in the game. All right, let's go to Denver next. This is, to me, the most electric possibility pod for monster upsets in this tournament. Michigan, the 5 seed, who, again, the committee just ignores the Big Ten tournament. They do it every single year, so it's not really a shock that they did it again. They're the 5 as the Big Ten champions, and they get a team I've been talking about for about 3 months now in UC San Diego, the winners of the regular and postseason in the Big West, a legitimate top 35 Ken Pom team for the last 3 weeks. And Sean, really my only concern with UC San Diego in this game is that Michigan has giant bodies.
Yeah.
Vlad Golden is a 7'1" monster. Danny Wolf is 7 feet tall and can play inside. Even Cheddar's a big body as well. UC San Diego, led by Tate Jones, their player of the year and the best player in the Big West. They really run 7 to 8 guys who are 6'7" or shorter. So they are not a particularly big team. But I don't really care about that. I've not really bought this Michigan team all year. They're great in close games. Regression to the mean can hit at very bad times in this tournament. I like UC San Diego outright, and they are not just winning 1 game. I like them to win 2 games in this tournament, Sean, and get to the Sweet 16.
Let's go. I'm with you. I mean, how could you the only thing that would scare me off UCSD and onto Michigan, and you nailed it. 1, they have those just giants, and maybe they control things so much. But where were the Giants in the Big Ten championship game? Michigan just played a bunch of games back to back to back, and now you're playing on a neutral at elevation against this UCSD team, which has just been a beast against the number 25-7 ATS. They got that slow tempo. They shoot a bunch of threes. This UCSD team is legit good. So the fact that they're the dog in this matchup, I think, is wrong. And I think this is a tough spot for Michigan. Again, I'm slightly worried about the size and the fact that UCSD has been such a darling in the gambling community. I feel like a lot of people will be giving out UCSD, but I don't care. Give me the Triton. So I'm with you. Get UCSD in the points, and I think they're live on the money line.
Yeah, the 2 darlings from the mid-majors this year, Drake and this UCSD team. I already, on the West one, I'll just give a little snippet. I like Missouri in that game and just going to wait for that number to go down. This one, no. You might have to get on it now because this could close Michigan 1 by the time that this game ends up going on Thursday night. And this is the last game of the night. So everyone could be betting UC San Diego all day long.
I need plus money to bail me out.
The get right or get worse game, as Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo always say. 4-13 game. Sean, this is another outright upset, and this is one of the fun ones in this bracket. I have the most ridiculous chalk you'll ever see at the end of this thing. But early on, I have 3 13 seeds advancing, and Yale is one of them. Yale, of course, pulled this exact sort of upset a year ago, beating Auburn in round 1 a year ago as a 13. Now to get A&M, and again, this is another one. A&M is the best offensive rebounding team in the country by margin. They rebound 42% of their misses, which is a ridiculous number. But when I was going through this last night, I'm like, all right, how does Yale do on the defensive glass? Yale is the 22nd best defensive rebounding team in the country, according to Ken Pop.
Yeah.
That is a really good recipe to pull an upset over a team that, look, I like Buzz Williams. He is one of the most underrated coaches. Wade Taylor's a monster, great player. But this is a bad matchup for A&M. Very happily take the points. Very happily take the money line with Yale here.
Well, yeah. So starting with their offensive rebounding, Texas A&M, you know what? They have a lot of practice, right? Because they're constantly missing, so they get used to, hey, this is how you offensive rebound. And if you watch their offense, it's almost like, all right, horrible long 2, get the offensive rebound, get rejected at the rim, get the rebound, and then on like the 4th attempt, maybe you get a layup. But they are just a tough offense to watch. So just one. Laying 7.5 with that kind of offense is something I want no part of. But I'm with you. I think Yale is a live dog here, and it's similar matchup to that Auburn game last year. And Yale can hit their threes. They played pretty good basketball. They won 16 out of the last 17. Now, obviously, a little different conference in the SEC, but still, I think their confidence is there, and they're just an efficient offense. Like, they know where they're supposed to be on the offense and the defense. They have an offense. Like, Texas A&M just looks so disorganized on offense. I would be very surprised if they beat Yale by double digits. So I like Yale with the 7.5, and I'm with you. I think they're going to be live on the money line.
We go to the bottom of the bracket now. We don't know the 6-11 matchup. Of course, the winner of North Carolina and San Diego State will get Ole Miss on Friday. The winner of that game will take on Iowa State or Lipscomb. And Sean, this is my upset of the whole tournament. I have Lipscomb outright as a 14-point underdog. Now, this may sound insane, but I am very concerned about the fact that Keyshawn Gilbert is not playing in this NCAA tournament for Iowa State. Now, Iowa State has played without Gilbert for a good chunk of time on and off the last few weeks. He didn't play in the Big 12 tournament. I get that. And Iowa State is very well coached. Jefferson is a beast inside. Their guards are still good. But this Lipscomb team, I thought, should have came to be a 13 or maybe even a 12. And they're a 14 seed. I think this is a dangerously underseeded team out of a league that, look, it's an extra board league out here in Vegas, so a lot of people don't recognize the A-Sun as much. That final against North Alabama was a high-quality final between two teams that were legitimately good. Very happy to take 14. There will be at least a unit on the money line here for me with Lipscomb. I think they have the pieces in order to pull this thing off, Sean. Tell me I'm insane for that one.
I love this because I thought I'm looking at this game. I'm like, am I crazy? Is Lipscomb? And especially, it's funny that you asked me to break down the South because I sent over some plays I liked, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of dogs in this. Well, when you're too heavy on dogs, you're like, am I overestimating something? Am I missing something? So it's great to hear all your points that are kind of coinciding with what I'm seeing, because I'm definitely going to be on Lipscomb and the 14. I don't know if I'll go full unit on the money line, but at least a half, maybe get up to a full unit. See how the rest of the day's treating me. But I'm with you. The only thing that scares me is Iowa State. If you are the Ken Pom, you look at their adjusted efficiency, their adjusted offense and defense. They do fit that like fringe contender model. Mm-hmm. I'm just a little skeptical of this Iowa State team in general. And the 14, 100% hammer on that. And I'm with you. Let's have them advance it.
Yeah, look,
Shock the world.
If Iowa State wins by 25, all right, whatever. This happens every March where we get crazy with one team. But look, again, that injury really scares me. I just in a tournament setting, I know this Iowa State team is much more efficient offensively than they were in the past. But again, we've seen it with them in at least this program in the past of laying eggs in March offensively. All right, Marquette and New Mexico, 7-10. Sean, I'm staying the heck away from this game. I don't like Marquette. I don't like the Mountain West. So this is a pure stay away from me. But there is one thing that I think you could make the argument New Mexico-wise that I didn't even think about, and I got to credit my dad with this when we talked on the phone about the bracket this morning. Who's the coach in New Mexico? It's a Patino.
Patino, yeah.
Who beat pretty good bloodlines, and also, too, you can't really go. You can't really go with New Mexico. New Mexico and St. John's are very different teams, as we know. New Mexico is not a good defensive team by any stretch, but at least you can get some sort of a game plan that has worked against Marquette. May it work? It may not. Marquette may win this game by 10, but I'm staying off of it because I'm not a huge fan of either of these teams. What way are you looking here in this one?
I am taking New Mexico in the points. I mean, top 20 defense, and they've played up in competition. They have 5 wins against tournament teams. The one thing besides the whole Mountain West thing, which I understand, I talk myself into Mountain West teams every year. So buyer beware. I love the Patino connection. Maybe Dad had a couple tips there on how to knock off Marquette. I would not be surprised if I have father-son. I mean, yeah, you were talking to your dad about college basketball. Why wouldn't the Patinos be talking father-son college basketball? So maybe a couple little inside nuggets. Great angle there. And I stumbled upon this. A guy on X or someone put out a guide. I'm blanking on his name, but he broke down the last 5-minute free throw percentage. And New Mexico is actually a team that does much better in the last 5 minutes than they do normally. 74.3% in the last 5, 68.4% normally. So they're not great for most of the game, but when it counts towards the end, when you're on the edge there of covering your 2 or your 3 and you're sitting on 4 points, you like a team that's good there hitting the free throws at the end. So I will take New Mexico in the 4.
Sean, last one for the round of 64. Michigan State is a huge favorite against Bryant, 17.5. Look, I'm not going to bother with this game, but I'm more intrigued just looking long-term here where we get into some regional prices, and I'm a little bit floored at some of the numbers that are out there on Michigan State, who I think is the only team in this region that is capable of beating Auburn unless if Auburn just has a complete off night.
I'm 100% in. I've watched this Michigan State team. I don't think it's crazy to say this is one of the best Michigan State teams that Tom Izzo has had. You look at their offensive and defensive efficiency, right up there. I feel like they're even better than they are historically at the line, at the 3-point. I just love this Michigan State team. And yeah, I get it. They lost to Wisconsin in the Big Ten Conference tournament, but I almost like that more for this tournament. They had a bunch of time to prepare. Izzo has time to lock in and get ready for this region because I think they are going to be live. I'm seeing 550, 6-1 some places for them to win the region. I think that's very doable for them. And Auburn at the price, it's you gotta talk me into why you would like Auburn at that price. I understand what they've done all season, but the way they finished the season, that's got to raise some red flags for you, right? Like just in the conference tournament and the way they close things out, that is kind of scary. Now they'll certainly bounce back. Obviously, they'll get a couple wins there early, but I am scared to take Auburn, especially considering the price. Like, to me, they do not feel like a sure thing.
Yeah, look, you got upwards of over $5 on Michigan State to win this league, or win this region, I should say. That is a little surprising. Like, again, just eyeballing this region, I mean, like I said, I have the 12 and the 13 coming out. As much as I love UC San Diego and Yale, Yale's not beating Auburn a second consecutive year, and UC San Diego probably doesn't have the horses to beat them. But look, when push comes to shove here, Sean, I am taking the coach I trust more, and I trust Tom Izzo more than I trust Bruce Pearl. So I'm with you. I took the 2 seed, Michigan State, out of this region. I have them losing to Florida in the national semifinal. But again, it's sick chalk all the way through. My Elite Eights, I have 4 1s, 3 2s, and 1 3. It is ridiculous chalk all the way through. So I have Michigan State over Auburn in this regional final when it's all said and done. So hopefully we'll get there together, Sean.
Let's go. Love Michigan State here. And I think the bracket kind of broke all right for them. It's going to be a game against Auburn, but the rest of the teams, I think they match up pretty well. And again, I go back to getting knocked out early almost helps some of these teams when they go in the actual tournament run.
More rest is not a bad thing. Again, I think that's part of the reason with Michigan, too. Like, extra game, short rest as well. Oh, and by the way, you're playing in Denver. Yeah, that's a lot of fun there on that one.
Yeah, no, Michigan, the back-to-back-to-back games, and you're at elevation. Just another reason to fit them.
Hey, look, we will forever beat the elevation angle into the ground. That's for sure. He's Sean Green, of course, the Sports Gambling Podcast, SGPN as well. Sean, always a pleasure. This has been the South Region preview here on Sports by the Book. Again, check out all the previews, the East, the West, the Midwest. We're going to have more Sean on the East preview, as well as Jim Root on the West and Paul Stone on the Midwest. And they're all available, will all be available right here on the Sports by the Book YouTube page. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Enjoy the madness. This has been a Sports by the Book special.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Parles.
And I'm Alex White. Thank you for watching this clip of Sports by the Book. Please like the video, comment, and subscribe.
We live stream the show right here every day on this channel. Also, you can catch the podcast version on your favorite podcast platform.
All the links are in the description below. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.